As I suspected, they seem to be supporting the Imperial Army now. Though I don't quite know who they are yet. Nor do I know what tricks they'll use against us next. We can't afford to let our guard down.
The battle at Gronder Field was gruesome, wasn't it? But perhaps it's irresponsible to look away, to close our eyes to the horrors of war. Thank you. But I think I do, actually. As survivors, we must ensure that all these lives were not lost in vain. We must see the tragic foundations upon which we'll build our future. May an age of peace rise from the ashes, so that all this sacrifice means something.
Each step closer to Enbar, I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works, though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
Indeed. Fort Mercius is the Empire's single most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say. I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Mercius? Indeed, a very good answer. But of course, you'd know that. Seems Fodlans give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as well as a title, I suppose.
Let's see. Guess what I noticed? I can see further than most other people can see. But I can't figure the point of seeing further than an arrow can fly, since I can't shoot what I see. I suppose I could see a whole horde of enemies coming and run away. That's kind of useful, at least. Thanks, Professor. I think I get it now. I'm gonna put my eyes to real good use.
Some say they saw Gilbert, who used to serve in the Knights of Seros, at Gronder. Apparently, he was originally a Knight of the Kingdom who served Prince Dimitri. He was an exceptional knight. I wish I could have fought by his side.
Fort Mercius is a keep that was constructed to defend the imperial capital, Enbar. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy. Whatever strategy you have in mind, I have faith that it will lead to victory.
Teach. Each time we take a step forward, more blood is spilled. But by spilling that blood, we're able to take yet another step forward. War is always a cruel affair. But luckily, we have each other to lean on. We've steeled our hearts. We won't be broken. If anyone's starting to feel the strain, I'm sure just hearing from you will reassure them. Please, do whatever you can to keep their morale up. Oh, and about taking the fort, I'll need a tad more time to prepare our plan. It's called an impregnable fortress for a reason, after all. My contingencies need contingencies this time, or we may not pull it off.
I wonder how far we can get with this plan, dressing up like Imperial soldiers to sneak in. Claude said it could use some refinement. Any ideas? Claude dressed as a woman? I don't understand what the point of that would be. On second thought, let's just stick to the plan as originally conceived. That seems safer.
Hilda's quite a tactician, disguising ourselves as enemy soldiers to sneak in undetected. A stroke of brilliance. With this strategy, we can really snatch victory from the jaws of deceit. Ah, rats! You've seen through my cunning punning.
Please tell Claude not to give us any more ridiculous orders. I've reached out through all of my channels, but there are limits to these things. I'll have to recruit an entire town's worth of people if I ever plan on making enough Imperial uniforms.
Professor!
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. I hear there was a huge battle recently. Glad to see you made it back safe and sound. Maybe there's life after death, or maybe that's just a bunch of pretty words. Either way, we should live like our time here is all we've got.
Pardon me. Got a wager for you. My friend says there's twice as many women in Abyss as men. You think he's right? No way. You got eyes?
From this one. Yes, indeed. Now let me see. Marvelous. This one should be proud of their growth. Now let me see. I expect much from this one. Yes. Now let me see. Marvelous. This one. Now let me see. I expect much. Now let me see. Fare thee well.
It's not that I don't sympathize with Lady Edelgard's goals, mind you, but perhaps not to the point of shedding blood for her ideals. Of course, but I've gone down a different road. Peace in Fodlan and a restored House Nouvelle shall be my guiding star as I blaze my own trail.
I hear Hilda proposed a genius plan, that right? We've got a little strategist on our hands. Not too long ago, she was just a tiny girl who couldn't do a thing on her own. Now look at her. She's the fiercest of the fierce. I wonder what Holst would say if he saw her now. I bet he'd be proud. Just like me.
People have always fought, I guess. Bandits and nobles clashing over territory, things like that. So before the war, when folks talked about how peaceful
Like I said, only if we're not careful. If it comes down to it, I'll protect this place till my dying breath. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but I want to ensure there is still a refuge for people to escape to.
I hear there was a pretty spectacular battle up there recently, but we don't hear a lot about that stuff. There was a lot of talk when it first started, but 5 years on, it's just a fact of life. What? There have been lots of battles on the surface recently? I hadn't heard. See what I mean?
No, please. You can't tell anyone you saw me here. I'm in hiding from the army. I couldn't stand the war, the violence. I had to get away. But now that I've deserted, I can't go home. Justice, ambition, what does any of that matter if you're dead? I just want to live. Is that so wrong?
Hey, welcome. You have a good eye. 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 A pleasure. You have a good eye. A pleasure. You have a good eye. A pleasure doing bit. Come again. Hey, welcome. You have a good eye. 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 A pleasure. You have a good eye. You have a good eye. You have a good eye. A pleasure doing bit. Come again.
Welcome. This one? Thank you. Please come again.
Why, hello there. If it is your wish. I've nothing left to give today, dear. Come back soon now.
Need something? See you again soon.
Doesn't matter how sturdy the keep. If the commander defending it is incompetent, it can fall as easy as anything. That's what they say, at least. I wonder if that applies to Fort Merceus. All I know is, if I was the Emperor, I'd never in a million years assign an incompetent commander to a fort as important as that one.
Huh?
Maybe.
You know when you work your muscles and they start screaming? That means you gotta be nice to them. If your muscles are hungry, you gotta feed them. And let them rest when they're tired. Of course! If my muscles hurt, then I hurt. If they're hungry, well then I'm hungry too. What's with the confused face, Professor? You look like you don't get a word I'm saying.
Professor, standing face to face with those whom I went to school with. On the field of battle. How inhuman war is. How horrifying.
Hi there.
Hiya. The fish in this pond get fed every day, so they're swimming all lazy and serene. But the only reason they're kept here is so that they can one day be used for food. But the fish don't know that, so they just swim around happily. It's a bit of a miserable thought, but aren't soldiers much the same?
No.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Is it true that we'll be assaulting Fort Mercius next? That doesn't sound like the brightest idea. I've heard that it's built to withstand an attack from even the largest of armies. And not to tell you how to do your job, but don't do it. I'm not ready to say my final goodbyes to everyone.
Hello! Will this one do? It's all yours. Tell your friends.
Hello there. This one, yes? I think this one, yes? I think. Return soon, please.
Hey there! We merchants of the Alliance territories were excited to hear of your victory in the last battle. We don't much like the prospect of doing business under the heel of the Empire. The Alliance is what we know and love. But more than that, it's low on regulations, which is great for business. Please keep up the good work, Professor. The merchants of the world are on your side.
Claude takes care of the strategy, you direct the troops, and the rest of us focus on the fighting. As long as the system keeps working, we can win any battle, no matter the odds. That's what everyone's saying, anyway. Hope you can keep up with our expectations, Professor.
No.
Wow, I hardly recognize everyone. Their faces have changed so much. More experience in the eyes, than more pain. I'm glad that they're stronger, but I hate to think they've all become hardened killers. Look after them, okay? Try to keep them on the straight and narrow.
I never used to care whether I lived or died. But after seeing so much death firsthand, I now realize how precious life truly is. I'm ashamed of how arrogant I was to think that death could mean so little.
Hello there.
Yes.
Ah, Professor, I have a question for you. Have you heard of the Death Knight? I'm referring to that Imperial general who has been operating under that moniker. Nothing is certain yet, but I get the feeling we'll have to face him soon enough.
Edelgard, Dimitri, and our own Claude. All the house leaders from way back when, assembled again at Gronder. I wonder what their thoughts were as they headed out to the battlefield.
Definitely.
After that great battle earlier, the balance of power in Fodlan has shifted greatly. To get revenge for all our fallen friends, we'll have to stake our lives on the fight that lies before us.
Fort Mercius is old and strong. Its reputation for durability is equal to that of Aryan Road. Are we really going to leave this to Claude, with a plan concocted by Hilda of all people? I would like to, but I'm always troubled by how secretively that man devises his schemes. Let us hope the end result is not too outlandish.
You there!
I come here after getting chased out of the Empire. There's no place for our kind there anymore. But there are still many inside Empire territory who haven't abandoned their faith in the Church of Seros. I pray that one day we'll get the chance to rebuild the church within the Empire.
I've eaten many meals in my time. This is divine.
Oh, exquisite! This is...
This is
That...
That smell.
I like...
My favorite meal?
Wow.
Always happy to join the professor for a meal. Oh, and I'm glad you're here too, Lawrence.
The pleasure is entirely mine, Hilda. Let us hope these... How kind of you.
Professor! Peace... Chatterbox.
Maybe I'm being...
People, so I get it. One...
Professor, as I... Though I... Nor do I... Let's put it to the test. No.
This was hardly a...
Can't say it. Go on. Thanks for...
Oh.
Brings...
Could you perhaps enlighten me on something? I grasp it so much more perfectly now. Let's do this. Any excuse. Whew.
Some things you can't learn in a book.
Looks like I'm...